What up?
Welcome.
Welcome again. This is
We are
episode
back.
number 2.
Ghost.
Eggs for breakfast.
What are you drinking?
Water. Did you have eggs for breakfast too?
Yes, I did. How about you?
Woo, I did. All right, guys. Greg and I are back for a little fun episode. We're just having fun shooting this because we want to share more values, more insights of from our perspectives of health, fitness, and also transformational coaches, how we've helped people transform and change, take ownership of not just their health, but their mind, their bodies, and everything. All these topics are going to be going around anything nutrition, sleep, mindset, energy, all that stuff, because it's all important to look at a person as a whole. So, yeah. But today we want to talk about the scale,
The
don't we?
scale. Yeah,
The
not the food
scale.
scale.
Yeah, not the food scale. Well, and the reason why we want to talk about this is, well, to create some awareness, to give you different perspective, and also to give you your power back. This is super important because way too often we have seen, especially women, because we used to work with women a lot, we've seen women giving their power away to the scale. And when we talk about the scale, it's like, your body weight and all that stuff. So that's a big problem. Now, just to clarify, I do now more transformational work, and I work with women to help them change their beliefs and their stories and feel empowered and change their energy, and teach them that they know to be in control of their own energy so they could change their story. So that's the work that I'm doing. But I used to do a lot of nutrition and fitness with Greg. We've done this together for quite some time. And Greg is still doing that, helping people better their health and their bodies. And so we want
Mhm.
to bring you guys both of our lens and perspective into this conversation, because to know why this is a problem and what can we do about it and things like that. Cool.
Very well said.
Yay. Okay. Well, it was a mouthful. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I think that we should talk about is that let's talk about what the scale means really, or what it doesn't mean, right? When it comes to measuring your health, your fitness, and your progression. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Greg?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you what it means to you, because
Oh.
I haven't had a scale in probably like
Mm.
over 15 years, honestly. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, I have a scale in my bedroom. I just like literally barely ever use it. So for me, I have zero emotional attachment to the scale because it does not give me, it used to give me a sense of my worth, right? It used to give me an idea of where I was with my fitness, with my body and my health, what I thought of, but it doesn't. I don't care about the number on the scale. So for me, it's a very teeny tiny portion of information that can tell me how I'm doing physically, but I don't want to attach there's no emotions attached to it. It's just feedback for me. And so
Yeah.
I use other things more than, I use how I look in the mirror, how I feel in my clothes, how I physically feel. So these are the things we want to talk about because that's really important. So
Yeah, like you said, it's just a tool in the toolbox.
yeah.
But you shouldn't let it roll you. It's just, a number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the problem, guys, from a physiological standpoint, like from a body standpoint. First of all, there's a lot of misconceptions for people that just don't have the proper education behind, like, I guess, fitness and the body and all of that. That if you're just like a fitness aficionado, is that how you say it? Like you just like to.
Mustachionado.
Oh, this is perfect. If you just love to exercise and you want to feel better and you're not a health professional, you might not understand these things. And we see this a lot because there's so many concepts that are not well understood. The scale is not an indicator of your progress, although it is a part of it. It's a small part.
Well,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
want to. Oh,
Go ahead.
no, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, a lot of times people they get this information from doctors and from officials like that, where they put so much
Mm.
meaning in this outdated what's the your height and weight, your
Yeah,
body,
BMI.
yeah, your BMI, and a lot of people they'll take it with them to their heart, and that's all they
Yes.
go with, thinking it's the
Right.
be all end all. Yeah.
Okay.
And it
So here's
isn't.
the problem. That's the problem. When we put too much importance to the number on the scale, not that it's not important. So it is a portion of your progress, right? So obviously, if you're 100 pounds too heavy or 50 pounds too heavy, it gives you feedback. Okay, there's this problem, right? But the problem is it's not the only thing, because sometimes when we focus too much on that number, and we've seen this so many times, oh, I've dropped 5 pounds, I've dropped 10 pounds, I've dropped 30 pounds. It doesn't mean, and if you haven't watched our first episode, go watch it. It doesn't mean that you're getting healthier.
Pause right now and go watch it.
Right, pause and go watch it. So number one, losing weight, right? The weight fluctuating on the scale is not an indicator of getting healthier. That's number one. And we clarified that in the first video. Number two, there are, and so people that have more lean muscle mass, right, are heavier on the scale. So people that do work out, that are stronger athletes, people that really train hard in the gym tend to build more lean muscle mass, and they're actually heavier on the scale. Now, if you take pictures of them or you look at how they look, you might think, oh, she looks like 135 pounds. Well, like this is what people think I weigh, 130 or something, but I'm like 165 because I'm much heavier on the scale. So you got to ask yourself that question. Do you care? Do you really care about the number on the scale, or do you really, really care about how you feel in your clothes, how you look naked? You know what I mean? Like what, so when you really ask yourself that question, I think every time we ask this question to a woman, she was like, oh, well, I care more about how I look and how I feel. I'm like, okay, cool. So let's remove that number, because that number can fluctuate. And as you're training, so for the most part, when we recommend strength training to change your body, because most women are trying to build more toned, they call it toned body, where they have like more muscle definition, less body fat. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to have to engage in more strength training, which is going to increase the number on the scale. So what we've seen in the past, which is super crazy and gnarly, is that people will start gaining a little bit of weight on the scale, or sometimes they don't necessarily, the scale might not move, because while they're losing body fat, they might be gaining lean muscle mass. And so the scale might fluctuate in different ways. And if people attach too much importance to that number, they feel like they're not progressing because they're only using the scale as a way to measure their progress. And that is one of the biggest like pitfalls that we've seen in our practice when we helped women with weight loss and fat loss, I should say, right?
Yeah. And even when they know all this, sometimes it can still be like a mind fuck, and
it sure is.
I'm not making any progress, and what's going on? I'll just go back to what I was doing, even though you know that what you were doing doesn't work. Yeah.
And that goes back to the ego and the inner work and all that stuff. And we'll talk about the mindset portion just after. But I guess I want to clarify that first of all. When you're on your health and fitness journey and you want to better yourself physically and health-wise, you have to consider that the scale is just one small portion of the equation, right? So yeah, you might need to lose weight. Perfect. But focus more on losing body fat as opposed to weight, right? Now, we talked about how to do it in a healthy way versus in an unhealthy way, right? So in the first video, again, you can watch this so you know the difference. But there's other measures of health. Greg, you want to talk about other ways to measure if you're actually progressing? That is not the actual scale.
Yeah, and it's usually, people are so quick to dismiss, but how you feel. Just how you feel, getting up in the morning. You feel like getting up? You have energy? Are you still fatigued throughout the day? Like, there's how you fit in your clothes. Stop me if I'm saying too much.
No, you're not. Keep going.
Can you eat more calories? Can you eat more food? These are all important things you can use as progress, that you should use and consider.
Yeah. There's a lot of subjective measures, like how you feel, your mood, your hormones, all of that stuff, how you negotiate with external stress, things like that. And your sleep, the quality of your sleep, this is really, really big. And there's also some objective measures, like what's your metabolic rate, what's some of the stuff that we teach in our program. So your body temperature and pulse, how's your body temperature, how's your immune system? Like, are you getting sick all the time? And there are some things like, your body fat. You could take your body fat. That's an indicator of progress. Your measurements, right? Measurements are, in my opinion, more powerful than the scale, because you could see where you're actually losing inches. And sometimes when you are strength training, you might gain some inches in some places where it's a good thing, because if you're trying to sculpt your body differently, build your body differently, there's different techniques, and there's different areas where you might want to grow a little bit, and areas where you might want to shrink. And that, you can measure that more specifically with circumferences and things like that. So pictures, progress pictures are a really great way to measure your progress. Now we're really talking about strictly like the body transformation portion of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the main thing I recommend to my clients, is taking photographs, because you see yourself every day, so that you don't sometimes notice the small changes happening, but when you take photos every 2 weeks or whatever the case may be, you can start to see what's really going on.
Yeah. So like, not only you could see it, but you can also keep yourself accountable, because you have to take some pictures. So you're actually, putting in the work, and you're taking action, right?
Yeah.
So I really like that. I wanted to talk a little bit more about this, because for some reason, even in 2020, people are still so stuck on the scale. And it's like, oh, I just dropped 5 pounds. And then also the scale will fluctuate day by day. It's like, it's not an even number. You're not like at 130, you might be 133 to 128, and it will fluctuate throughout the day, before, after you take your poop, the scale will move all the time. So we need to if you're obsessed with the scale, well, first of all, I recommend you just stop weighing yourself. That would be the first thing, because it's actually hindering your progress, because it's so negative. You have such a negative attachment to it, and you're giving your power away to something that's outside of you. And it's not, on top of this, a good indicator of your progress. So that is like, this is something we recommend. Now, if you're not so obsessed about the scale, I would say you could use it, but just use it as feedback. How am I doing? But make sure you're also taking other measurements, like your pictures, your measurements, you're calculating your body temperature and pulse, your metabolic rate, see how you're feeling, all of that stuff, so you could see if are you getting stronger in the gym? That's another indicator of progress, right? There's so many ways to get to progress, depending on what your goals are. Okay, so progression is, 1, not linear, and 2, it's a combination of different things. So we need to open up a little bit and start looking at other things than the scale when it comes to the body.
Yeah.
So, did you want to add anything to this?
I did, but it kind of left me. I think I learned about this probably about 45 years ago or something, but
yeah, sure. You're not that old, but go ahead.
No, the one, when you don't understand how certain things can affect the number on the scale, then you're going to be freaking out a lot when it does go up or doesn't go down. So learning and realizing that if you look at water and you put a glass on the scale, you pour water into it, you're going to see the weight go up, but in water, there's no fat. But the weight does go up. So some of the reasons could be that you're more stressed, you're holding on to water, inflammation. So then the number on the scale is going to reflect that.
Yeah.
And if you don't
we've seen it. Yeah, go ahead.
If you don't know that, then you're going to be like, oh, this sucks. This isn't working. I'm a failure. And then you quit.
Yes. And that's the problem, because they attach too much importance to it. And then the problem is make you quit. So it's like you said, it's a mindset. It's a big mindset thing. So if you don't understand it, like, don't bother with the whole weight thing, because you're just going to make it worse for yourself. That's my personal opinion, at least. If you understand how the scale works and you want to use it as one way to give you feedback and measure your progress, then great, go ahead and use the scale. But don't let this affect your progress. It could just be like, hey, you might need to switch things up, do things differently, work hard more consistently, change your nutrition, things like that. It's great. It's just feedback. It's neutral. The scale is really neutral. It's the emotion we give it, the meaning we give it, that actually changes how we feel.
Yeah.
Which leads me into the next portion, because
I'm captivated. I want to know the next portion.
The next portion is how you feel. It's your energy and it's your mindset. So we've talked a little bit about this already, but the problem with this scale is that, I said that we're giving it too much power. We need to stop, in general, not just the scale, with everything else though, giving too much power away of towards things that are outside of ourselves, what people think, right? So like all these things that are not coming from us, and start really doing the inner work. So depending on where you are on your journey, because everybody's at different space, if you've never done any personal development, any meditation, any spiritual growth, or any of that, you might want to just start by becoming aware of your negative thinking and your thoughts and how you speak to yourself. I would start with this. And because a lot of times people are not aware of the conversations they're having in their own head, right? Their ego is speaking to them in ways that are so destructive and so negative that it's actually hurting them constantly. So if you've never done any kind of personal work, I would start with this, because start to shift that conversation in your head, because this is preventing you from moving forward. And there's so much more we can elaborate on that, because obviously the whole like fitness, body transformation world has a whole lot of I'd say negative beliefs and dogmas attached to it, because a lot of people do it for the wrong reasons and they don't always know it, right? A lot of people are trying to change their bodies because they hate it, and they think that by having a perfect body or better bodies that they'll be happier, and that's a bigger problem in the first place. So we need to start a conversation there. So first of all, make sure that your health and fitness journey is coming from the right place. You are wanting to better yourself because you love yourself. You're coming from a place of love. You're coming from a place of wanting to give more, wanting to be stronger, healthier, and all that stuff. So that's the first thing. Then, like I said, start becoming aware of these conversations, because we all have these little conversations going in our head constantly. And that's the first step, becoming aware and conscious of these things, so we can start shifting those things, right? And of course, there's all kinds of ways and strategies and tools you can use to do that. You can do meditation, you can work with a coach, you can start reading, listening to podcasts, all that stuff. There's so many work that needs to be done. But I do want to say that it's very important to come from the right place when it comes to your health and body, because first of all, if you're doing it from a place that it's not connected to love, it's never going to be sustainable, and it's never going to work. Because everything we have a negative attachment to, we never sustain it. It's draining, it's exhausting, and it's terrible. So we need to change that conversation first. I would start there. Want to add anything to the mindset portion?
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head. Anything that's, like you said, not from a place of love, it's not going to be sustainable. All those temporary, they're all temporary. Like the wedding I want to get, or the beach body, or whatever it is, it's not going to last, because you're not, you know. Yeah.
And I've seen this a lot into my work too. It's like, and this is another thing, this is the next stage of like transformation and personal development, is like we're trying to, when we feel out of control with our own health, with our own energy, we start to try to control things outside of us in order to make us feel better. So we become control freak. And one of the way people do that is by trying to control their nutrition and trying to control the scale and trying to control their fitness. And it's extremely exhausting. And as I said, you can't sustain that. So the first thing to start doing is to start focusing on controlling your energy and make yourself feel better. And once you start feeling better, whether that means like put on your favorite music, talk to the people that are empowering you, that are lifting you up, surround yourself with people that are positive, change your environment, there's so many ways you could change your energy. The minute you start doing this, then you can take action from that space. You do it because now you're excited, you're in the right vibration. And that has a so much more impactful, powerful effect on not just your health, your body. Oh, damn, we got cut off here.
We're back.
I was in a flow, I was going. So anyways, but I think I was talking about how to shift your energy. And so what's very important to understand is we need to be extremely mindful about where are we coming from an energy standpoint. So make sure that your why and your energy is in the right place before you do anything. So if you're going to go work out and, if you don't like to exercise, or you're not doing it for the right reasons, it's never going to work. You're never going to sustain it, or it's always going to be painful and you're going to suffer. So that's not good. So we need to change that story. And that can happen in a lot of different ways. But some of the simple things you can do before you exercise and things like that is get in the right vibration. Put on your favorite music, you know, whatever it needs. I was telling the women, like, you know, I like to put on my favorite, you know, fitness clothes. I think about my vision, how I want to look and feel. I get in the right energy before I do my workouts, before I eat the food. I always keep the why in mind, my vision. All of these things are super important. So, I mean, for me, I don't have to do all these things anymore because I have developed a very positive attachment to exercising and eating healthy and having a healthy lifestyle in general. But if this is not your case, your work is to start changing your story around that. Change your beliefs, change your story, change your energy around health and fitness, because otherwise you're always going to stop and quit and procrastinate, because there's nothing that we want to do and we can sustain that is so negative, right? So we need to change that that script before we do anything. So yeah, because I know for you, Greg, it's like you don't have to do any of this because you've been doing this for a long time and you've always have a positive attachment to health and fitness, being healthy, right?
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 75 years now, so it's just so deep and ingrained that I don't, you know, just I love how it makes me look and feel, and
yeah,
it's just a, you know,
it's a
those whys are
no-brainer,
so strong. Yeah,
right? And your
yeah.
standards when it comes to health and fitness are super high. So for you, it's like
Can't
it's
even
a
see it. It's way up here.
but if this
But
is not your case,
I was gonna say, yeah. Well, go ahead. I'll chime in.
no, I'm just gonna say, if this is not your case and you're not coming from the right place, and your energy when you think about eating healthy and exercising, it really drops. This is a first sign that you don't have a healthy connection or a positive connection to being healthy or exercising. You need to change that. So if you need help with this, you know, like I was saying earlier, I don't know if that part was recorded, but like read some books, you know, start listening to podcasts, you know, surround yourself with positive people that are actually doing it. Like your circle, your environment is super important. Create an environment that is conducive to your goals and your vision. You know, in order for you to reach your goals, you have to become the person that is already healthy before you become healthy. Don't think that you'll be happy or you'll be better when you get there. You have to create that feeling and that energy within yourself every single day, like you're training your muscles in the gym, before you become it. So it starts with the inner work, and then you can take action. So what are we going to say about that?
No, I was gonna say that's what I always make my clients before we start write down their whys and put it somewhere where they can see it every day.
That's it.
It reminds them, you know, why they're doing this, why it's important. And it can't be, you know, like we said, superficial.
No, it has to be deep.
Yeah.
You have to have some emotional attachment to it. It has to change your energy. It makes you feel. You have to feel it. So get in that body. If you need help with this, that's what I do. But, you know, it doesn't matter. Like you said, it could be a vision board. It could be mantras. It could be pictures. Whatever is positive, that it's pulling you forward, that's going to help you to remind yourself why you're doing this, is extremely helpful. You also want to get very clear about why it's important for you to not do it. So the pain of not changing has to be super important. This is when you start using pain as leverage. So you're not using pain to feel sorry for yourself or suffering, which is this is completely different. But you're using like, okay, this is not okay, this is not acceptable, and something needs to change. But then you're taking empowered action towards your vision because you know why it's important for you. Because get really clear, because if your why is I just want to drop a few pounds so I could look better in my dress, it's never going to cut it. Like, you're not going to get up in the morning to go to your workout. You have to attach it to, I want to be a role model for my daughter or my son, you know, my kids. I want to be a better spouse. I want to have the energy to be healthy and happy and active until I'm a grandparent. You know what I mean? All these things. I want to be able to help contribute more into the world. I want to be able to help my sick parents. Like, you can't give what you don't have. So you have to start digging deeper into why it's important for you to take care of your health. And so find what it is for you that works, that gets you fired up, and make sure you remind yourself of that every single day, because the minute you stop, it's going to stop. It's that simple. So the mindset portion is really important. So we went from the scale to a really deep conversation, but
well, I mean, it's everything.
It is.
It's for everything. Yeah.
It is. So anyways, so let's wrap this up. Basically, what we want to say is like a couple tips or things you can do or things to keep in mind. Okay. So guys, the scale is a very small portion of your progress. And sometimes it is not an indicator of progress, depending on what you understand of the scale and what you use it for. Make sure that if you're going to be using the scale or the number on the scale, if I should say, as a way of seeing your progress, that you're also measuring other things like your health, your mood, your sleep, your energy, all these things, plus measurements, pictures, your strength, your endurance, all these different things that are also indicators of progress. Your metabolic rate, I should say, too, which is super important because it's about your metabolism, right? Because we want to make sure that you're doing this to where, yeah, you might lose some weight, but we want to make sure you're not dropping your metabolism. And this happens a lot. We've seen it because people are so focused on the weight loss that they go too fast with this process, and they do it in an unhealthy way where it's really restrictive and it's affecting your metabolism. So now you're going down the rabbit hole. So let's not do that.
Yeah.
And the next thing, and make sure that if you're having some negative attachment to the scale or anything like this, I'd say just leave it. It's not serving you. Do the inner work, work on yourself, work with someone, read a book, do some personal development when it comes to getting to know how to know your worth, getting to know how to transform your energy. Because at the end of the day, we all have that same story as human being, and we always feel like we're not good enough. And for some people, it's more powerful than others. And some people do have the tools and strategies to snap out of it when they feel like that, but some people don't. And when we don't have the tools and strategies to snap out of this, we let things outside of us control how we feel, like the scale, like her, so it's really important to do the inner work, because for me personally, it's 80% of the work is the mindset and the inner work and the energy behind it. And then the rest is the strategies and what you do and the actions you're taking out into the world. But if you do it from the wrong place, you're just going in circle or you're hurting yourself, right? So we have to make sure that we're having a positive attachment to our health and fitness, and it's coming from the right place, right? You want to add anything, champ?
No, I agree with everything you said. You kind of like leave me speechless without anything to say. But just to put it a little in terms that other people might understand, it's just, it has to be, the inside has to be the priority, especially if your outside's a priority. You have to do the inside first. It's like building a house. You wouldn't start with the second floor because the house would fall. You have to have that strong foundation, and the strong foundation here is the inside.
That's a great analogy. It's the inside out job, guys. And I'm so glad you've seen this, because we've seen it from experience. We've helped women transform their bodies, and we've seen women transform their bodies in very amazing ways and still feel too fat, not good enough, terrible, and being unhappy. So we've seen it both ways. We've seen people transforming physically and not. So you can't, it's just not going to work. As much as you think it is, it's not going to. So make sure you do the inner work as you're going through your journey. So you do it in an empowered way, and it's actually helping you. Yeah? Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, this was our episode number 2 of X for Breakfast. We hope you're enjoying it. If you guys have any questions for anything, comments, questions, feedback, you can leave it below in the comments, or you can send us a message at the Reawaken Project on Facebook or on Instagram. We're going to be recording some more episodes and, talking about all kinds of stuff. If there's anything you'd like to hear about, let us know. But yeah, we're going to be doing this because we want to share more love out in the world, don't we?
Yeah, of course.
And if you're interested in working with us, we do have some programs that we offer. They're fully online right now, so we can help you with technology. We have everything it takes. Or if you need a kick in the ass, reach out. We'll help you out. Yeah. We got you. We have a team of experts with us. So, all right, guys. You have a great day. Go eat some food. Bye.